Make sure you are seated comfortably, your body relaxed. Close your eyes and focus your attention on your breath, feeling the gentle rise and fall of your lungs. Allow any tensions and worries to slip away with each out-breath, releasing all negativity. With each in-breath, draw in purifying, clean air. Slowly let all outside concerns fade away. The space around you begins to darken as your attention moves inwards. Everything fades away, leaving only a quiet, peaceful darkness. You rest a moment in the darkness, feeling yourself safe and secure. The darkness spreads out in all directions, vast and silent. You rest within the great void, Ginunga Gap, the emptiness before creation, before the beginning of time and the birth of space. Within this void all things will come into being. In the very distance on either side of you, you are aware of the realms of fire and ice. So far away you can barely perceive them. Through their union, force and form will come into being and the worlds will be set in motion. It is in this place that you will meet Perthro. In the centre of the void you see a small light, a tiny spark of vitality. We will call the name of Perthro 3 times to bring it into being. Perthro. Through the power of your voice, the spark of light transforms, undulating in silver and black, the light rippling like water as it transforms into the shape of Perthro. The rune grows larger and larger, shining brightly in the darkness, steadily moving towards you until it comes to a rest, waiting for you to enter. Slowly you pass through the rune and into the realm beyond. It is late evening and underneath the thick growth of the woodland you cannot see the way, but you know this path like the back of your hand. Every snarl of bramble is nimbly stepped over, every rabbit hole avoided with ease. The scents of the night air weave around you as you cross over the badger track and pass by the spring flowers, now closing for the night. In the distance you hear music and laughter, and you know that the men are already making merry in the hall. The hard winter is but a passing memory, and the neighbouring tribes report no disturbances or threats worthy of concern. A long summer of plenty seems likely. As you pass out of the woodlands, you leave your basket of herbs by your own hut. But you are restless tonight. There is a questioning upon you. You feel the need to pass amongst your tribe, to feel the tribe life force, to wrap it around you like fabric and then adventure outwards into the night, into the unknown. You pass by the huts of your neighbours and exchange words with those who, like you, feel the call of the evening upon them. They must sense, though, that your adventure this night is to be a solitary one, for each person simply smiles and lets you pass on by. As you circle around the hall, you see the lights of the torches flickering at each of the small windows. The orange glow of the fire beckons you in through the leather-curtained doorway. You peer in through one of the openings. 4 men are sitting at a low table beneath the window. Each holds a clay tankard poised close to his lips, all the time watching intently as the dice cup is passed from hand to hand. Slowly the cup circles, each man testing his luck against the dice as they roll and tumble upon the worn surface of the table. When it is not his turn, a man might joke or comment upon his friend's success or failure, but when his own turn comes, his focus is intent. Some whisper to the cup before casting the dice, others trace symbols over it to increase their luck. At this time when peace reigns, the stakes will be small, but when war or winter beckon, the stakes will rise as each man prepares to be tested. Within these games of laughter and merriment, the deep threads of weird are still visible. The dice help you read the threads, telling you whether you will rise or fall, whether victory or ruin are to be yours. You step back into the darkness of the evening, weaving back and forth across the well-trodden pathways of the settlement. A cry catches your attention and a woman emerges from the doorway of a hut. You smile to her and she smiles back, gesturing for you to join her. You stand within the lit doorway and she points inside to where a young woman sits patiently upon a bench, while an older woman gently paints runes upon her skin in sacred oils. The young woman is heavily pregnant. "The pangs have just started," the midwife's assistant whispers to you. "My mistress bade me test the child's luck and see who was passing." She draws you inside and presents you to the old midwife and expectant mother. The midwife looks at you. She has been with the tribe her whole lifetime and has delivered pretty much every living person on the settlement. "All will be well," the midwife reassures the anxious mother. "This one came easily, and so your babe will too." You give your blessings to the mother, child, and midwives, and promise to call again in the morning to see if anything is required. As the flap of the door closes, you hear the midwife begin the birthing song, lulling the mother gently from her anxiety. You pause to listen, but even this soothing cannot lull your restless desire for the night, and you set off once more. As you walk onwards, the spaces between the huts become larger as you approach the edge of the settlement. You are amongst the scattering of steads known as the outdwellings now, the place where the spirit whisperers and rune sages work. Most of the dwellings are in darkness, but you see a single light flickering and make your way towards it. 2 women sit outside a small hut. You recognise one as your neighbour, while the other is a seer. You have not had cause to consult her yourself, but you have been told that she is an expert in her craft. The seer holds a bowl of water upon her lap and gently tilts it to and fro. "Tell me, mother," your neighbour asks in hushed but urgent tones, "what do you see for me? Will all be well?" "All in good time," the seer responds. Unhurriedly she begins a whispered chant over the bowl, too soft for you to hear. You imagine that her words are coiling upwards into the darkness, and as this fancy strikes you, the full moon soars overhead as the clouds pass by. The seer tilts the bowl until the silver light of the moon falls upon its surface. "Ah," she says, "I see clearly now." Not wishing to intrude, you pass by the hut, moving further out into the darkness. You walk on for a few minutes, chiding yourself as the moon withdraws once more behind dense cloud. You know that you should turn back towards home, but something urges you on, some desire to meld with the darkness for just a little longer. You walk trustingly out into the fathomless darkness beyond the settlement, and as you do so, a bright light suddenly shimmers into being around you, encircling you, drawing you in. You are too startled to be frightened. The light doesn't harm you, and you don't feel as if you have moved very far. You can hear in front of you the sound of trickling water, and now, as before, the moon slides from behind the clouds, but, strange to say, it is the crescent moon now, and not the full. By its light you can see the silvery waters of a great pool, and the gentle slope of the land leading downwards to the water's edge. High above you, you can hear the rustle of leaves, and as you look up, you see the outline of the mightiest tree you have ever seen. Its shadow melds with the light of the stars, stretching out high above you, as if its canopy is the sky itself. You remember that some of the outdwellers are said to read the future by the stars, and your mind is drawn back to a tale you were once told, that the stars themselves are set amongst the canopy of the great world tree Drasil. "It is no story," comes the voice of a woman in the darkness. The voice is strange to you, beautiful and powerful, not like anyone you have met before. In the shadows you see the figure of a woman drawing closer. She is clad in a long hooded cloak of black. She stretches out her hand. It glows white in the darkness, and, almost as if she has taken the light of the moon itself and cast it about her, the shores of the great pool are suddenly lit up in silvery white. You see two other figures, both cloaked like the lady, one seated by the pool and the second standing by the root of the great tree. The root is so huge it rises above her head and disappears into the darkness above. This is the Well of Weird beneath the great world tree, the woman tells you, where past, present and future are wrought. Come and speak to us if you will, or gaze upon the waters and seek answers to the questions in your heart. But do not touch the water or stray from our presence. She turns away from you, back to her sisters. Here by the well, questions may be asked of the three Norns, Urd, Verdandi and Skuld, past, present and future. Some they choose to answer, some they do not. Ask wisely and much wisdom could be yours. You sense that your time with the mysteries of Perthro is drawing to a close. You bow in thanks to the three sisters, the Norns, Urd, Verdandi and Skuld, and take your leave of the great world tree and the waters of the well. Then Urd, the first sister, stretches out her hand once more, and a beautiful, shimmering silver Perthro rune forms in the air in front of you. Slowly you walk towards it and pass through its silver energy into the darkness beyond. Standing in the darkness, you give thanks to the rune for its lessons and energy. You watch as it fades away, leaving you in darkness, ready to return to your physical form. Slowly you let your attention return to your body, feeling the darkness around you start to fade. You let your awareness expand to the space around you as the darkness recedes. You feel yourself centered within your body, your attention focused on your physical presence, your breath and your heartbeat. The Perthro rune is gone, and you begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, bringing yourself back to normal reality. Take your time, and when you are ready, open your eyes. Make sure you are seated comfortably, your body